Hi there, everybody. My name's Chris, prototype person. My father's owner of one of these Kel-Tec sub-2000 folding rifles, and wanted to put an optic on there. And after a bunch of research, I realized that this is quite a topic for owners and fans of this weapon. But the problem is getting an optic mounted that holds at 0. That's still able to allow the gun to fold. Well, I'm a machinist, so I decided to go about trying to find a way to do this. And I have to admit, I didn't come up with the concept for the final design. My cousin actually gave me the idea for this, but originally I was just going to mount a metal plate that basically went flat along here with a bend that took it off down to the side of the rifle, where there would be a rail mounted, and the scope would pretty much be mounted over here off to the side where my fingers are, so that it'd be able to fold because there'd just be a flat piece of metal right here. But you'd kind of have to tilt the rifle to the side to be able to look through it, which was kind of undesirable. So after talking to my cousin about it, he called me up one day and said, you should use a spring door hinge to mount it. I said, a spring door hinge? I'd never heard of it before. But apparently there's a door hinge like any other, but it has a spring right inside the hinge area here that gives tension to the hinge. It's used to keep a door shut. Well, what that's able to do is allow to hold the scope on here really tight. It's a powerful hinge, it's a powerful spring, but you can still move it like this. If you were to let it go, just snap right back into position. It's strong, doesn't even rattle or anything when you fire. But what it allows you to do is to fold it off to the side and fold the rifle like normal. And it rests right here up alongside the buffer tube when it's folded. And when you want to open it, you just do it like normal with the little pin right here up in the front. And you can either hold this while you do it and release it gently, like so. Or if you were so inclined, or you're in a hurry, or you just think it's cool, you just open it like so and it just pops down into position. Just like that. It's in line with the bore, it's co-witnessed with the front sight. So your red dot appears right above the front sight post. My father didn't want me to, but I recommend that you cut off the top of this hood on the front sight post just to give you a clearer field of view when you're looking through the scope, or even just using iron sights. But if you like, I'll give you guys a little bit of a closer look here. Get this thing turned. Okay, zoom it in a little. Away from that light. There we go. So, here it is. Got the scope, hinge, you can see the rail. Hinge is open. You can see I used 4 screws. They're flathead screws and they're countersunk into the door hinge that holds it into a metal plate that goes inside here. You can actually probably see the steel through those little vent holes right there. It's just a little 1/4-inch piece of steel with 4 tapped holes in it that the hinge screws into. And then there's simply just 2 tapped holes right here on the door hinge that the rail screws into, using a couple of lock washers too. And then you're able to, mount this at will, whatever kind of sight you want. I recommend, of course, a red dot sight, considering how far up on the weapon this is mounted, because you'd have a considerably long eye relief. Maybe a scout scope would work pretty well too. Anyway, I'll show you the plans real quick here and then I'll be finished. Flying camera. Give you a look at each separate part. There's the hinge. I actually cut it down a little. It was more like 1 1/4 inches on each side rather than 1 inch, just to trim up the size a little. And then there's a schematic of the little metal plate that I did. 6x32 tap. You could probably move those holes more toward the edge of the metal if you wanted to give you a more stable mount. You could drill the holes through the plastic foregrip a little further apart rather than towards the center in the seam. Anyway, I don't know. I'll give you a little better look at this one here. What I did. I don't know why I used fractional and decimal dimensions, but the fractional dimensions I used on clearance holes. Those are the countersunk holes. And then I used a more precise dimensioning for the threaded holes, just to make sure everything matched up. So, yeah, to drill the holes through the handguard, all I did was just put this little metal plate on top of it and use a little scribe and scratch little holes through my plate there, and then just used a hand drill to drill it out of the handguard. Anyway, if anybody wants to try it out, go ahead. Obviously, these tapped holes right here and here might have to change size or position depending on what kind of rail you want to use. Anyway, seems to hold at 0 really well. It's very accurate. Out of 25 yards, I think it was doing under 2-inch groups, which is good in my opinion, especially for this weapon. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped, and watch your new videos in the future. Thanks.